Missing someone with all your missing someone
What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren for those of you guys who are new, and in this week's episode I'm going to be showing you how I created this light ashy balayage on my client. She came in with virgin hair and I'm going to be tackling this project in one session, so I'm going to share you my tips and tricks on how to get my clients super light in just one session. So here is my client's before. She had super long hair, and believe it or not, all of this hair was virgin. She's never colored it, which is definitely a hairdresser's dream, and her goal was to be super blonde. So we're kind of doing this in sessions and taking it slow to make sure that her hair stays nice and healthy. So I've already started foiling her hair in the back, and for this type of color I wanted to use foils, and I wanted to use foils so that her hair could get maximum amount of lift. I feel like dark hair lifts better when in foils. So I went ahead and started doing some thicker weaves in the back underneath. And the reason why I chose to do thicker weaves was because I wanted to see thicker ribbons of lighter color. So I wanted the bottom back to have as much color as possible, yet still leaving a little bit dimension so that the color kind of blends in well with her natural. And for her lightener formula, I will be using the Pulp Blonde AF. I started with 10 vol and then worked my way all the way up to 25 vol. It's also really helpful when doing balayages on super long hair like this to have a foil cutter that you can customize the length of your foil to your client's hair. I feel like this saves me a lot of time opposed to if I were to like pile on a bunch of foil to match her hair length. It's also easy if I do want to rinse out some of the color first before I rinse out the rest. It's easy for me to flip the foils over her head and kind of rinse those foils in the back, and things won't be flying everywhere. It just makes it a whole lot easier and makes it quicker for me to get through the balayage. When taking my weave sections, I make sure that my weaves are pretty thin and see-through. This makes it so that I get an even lift. I also make sure that I put a lot of lightener on each section so that I don't have any uneven spots. And then there, I'm just folding up the foil. I don't like to fold the hair in the foil so that there aren't any warm spots, because sometimes when you fold the foil where there's lightener, the hair can create some like warm spots where the folds are. So I just kind of like to lay a foil right on top of the product so that I don't have any unevenness. So I pretty much do this similar type of foiling technique throughout her whole head with no space in between. But as I get towards the top of her head, around the crown, I will be creating thinner and smaller weaves just to help blend in with her natural, and then later I will be shadow rooting everything so that it all blends together. When I rinse out my foils, I like to rinse out according to when they're ready. So you can see that I already rinsed out the back there and the front wasn't totally ready, but notice how the hairline is already rinsed and wiped away. This is because the hair around the hairline is a lot finer, so they do tend to process a lot quicker than the hair behind the hairline. So that is why the hairline there on that top section has already been wiped away, and this top crown section is the last section that I'm taking out to rinse because that is the last section that I had foiled. So now that my client is ready for toner, I've already mixed up some liquid Demis from the Pulp Riot line for her tone, and I've already prepped her by shampooing and conditioning her hair and brushing out majority of her tangles before I tone her, so it's easy for me to apply. Also, I did prep her hair with some Pulp Riot Barcelona Purple shampoo to help tone out majority of the yellow that was in her hair. For her root shade, I went ahead and mixed from the Pulp Riot Liquid Demi line. I mixed up 7-0 and 7-03 for her root shade because I wanted something ashy but not too ashy to blend out with her natural. So when I apply a root shade, I like to start on the top wherever they part their hair. This is because I want that part to be the darkest. And with toner, they do process progressively. So wherever you place that toner first, that will be the darkest. And wherever you place the toner last, that'll be the sheerest. So because I'm trying to blend out where the line of demarcation is from her highlights, I like to make sure wherever she parts her hair that it is fully covered and blended in with her natural. And here you can see I'm lightly tapping her hairline because I want this part to be the lightest and have the shortest amount of root shade. So I chose a level 7 for her root shade because I wanted something that would blend nicely with her natural, but I didn't want something too dark as a level 6 because we are going to be putting on a level 9 for her mids and ends for the lighter blonde shade. And I felt like a level 6 would have been a little bit too dark, so I opted for a level 7 to help blend in with the lighter color and still blend in with her dark natural color. One of my favorite things about using the Pulp Riot Liquid Demis is that it's very conditioning compared to other liquid demis that I have used in the past. This is really important, especially when I'm toning super long hair because the ends do get really tangled because the hair is wet and the hair is long, so it's prone to being tangled when you're dealing with wet long hair like this. And so it's really important for me to have a product that is easy to brush out and doesn't get too tangled when toning such long hair like this. So once I'm done applying the root shade all over the head, I do go back with the leftover root shade color and I will drag down and make the root shade a little bit longer in some areas. I specifically target the areas in the back here because I want a little bit more dimension in the back to create a more ombre effect with my balayage. And this helps really to melt and tone the colors together so that you get different variations of the toner. So once I'm done officially applying the root shade all over, I will start applying the lighter color, and I like to start applying this in the back, and as each section goes, I do like to brush out the hair, making sure that I fully saturate and get the toner everywhere. And for the lighter formula, I am using the liquid demis as well. I will be using the 9-2, 9-1, 9-0, and the clear, which is the 0-0. And I'm starting in the back here because I want that back portion to be the darkest when I apply this lighter formula. Like I said earlier, wherever you place the toner first, that will be the darkest because the toner has been sitting there the longest, so it does tone the most in those areas. And I want this lighter color to gradually get lighter as we get to the hairline, which is the money piece. So it kind of creates a color melt essentially as I'm working my way towards the front from the back. Also, going back to when I prepped her hair before the toner, I did say I conditioned her hair. This is so that when I'm brushing out her tangles like I am right now with a wet brush, it's a bit easier to brush it out, and I'm being super careful not to try and tug or break her hair. I'm just brushing it very gently and making sure that the tangles are fully out before I apply the toner. This is crucial when brushing out wet hair because when the hair is wet, it is at its most vulnerable state. So it's really important to brush it out as carefully as possible and take out any big tangles with your hands instead of the hairbrush. Now when I get to her money piece, you can see that I tone the mid first and then start brushing, and then I will apply the rest to the end so that it creates a slight ombre effect with the toner. And then once I'm done toning, I do go back in and cross-check and make sure that I apply the toner evenly everywhere and don't miss any spots. And here is my client's after. You can see how bright and ashy her blonde is with some subtle dimension. Since her goal is to be overall super blonde, the next appointment when she comes in, I'm going to be picking up those dark pieces that we left out this appointment to create her ends to be more solid so that she could be overall super duper blonde. There you can see the money piece is so much lighter than the rest and really pops, but also gives her a nice highlight around her face. And as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching this episode. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys next week.